We are good to go here. I am the Kroy Kaze, and tonight I welcome a guest onto the stream. This is 12Sixer. 12Sixer is a good friend of mine and is involved with kind of the North American Riichi Mahjong. He's agreed to like look over my play from the disastrous like a dragon attempt to beat hard mode Mahjong, and we're just going to talk about Mahjong and talk about what happened and some of the choices I made, and it's just lighthearted. Like this isn't going to be like a super serious thing, but say hello to the people. 12Sixer, give yourself a little intro.
Hi, so I'm 12Sixer. I've been playing Mahjong for about 10 years now. Um, I'd like to think I've gotten better during that span of time. I have been fortunate enough to play in tournaments across the world, including France, Britain, the Netherlands, and then the World Riichi Championship in 2017 in Las Vegas. So, I've been very fortunate. Been still a work in progress, still learning, but definitely willing to help other people out and working on the game and trying to get better because I didn't necessarily have that for me a little bit when I was learning Riichi Mahjong. So I'd like to help other people out so they don't necessarily struggle as much as I did.
Well, I think that's going to be really appreciated. I'm just making sure to free up some memory here because I think having a little memory constriction, I think that'll help. Okay, cool. All right, I think we're good to go here. I'm going to hit play on the video. This is the first round of the first game. Like, this is just me getting started for the night, right? This is
So
this is when I had hope. I felt good. So let's look at this opening draw, right? Where I got the 1-3-5-7. Like in general, when you get these kind of odd, unconnected, like alternating tiles, do you view this as like a good or like a bad thing that happened here?
Uh, well, the thing is that you really only have one completed Mensu or meld, and that's your 3-4-5 pin, right?
Yep. So for
Everything
those who don't
else,
know, the character set over here is what's called the Manzu, right? The sticks here are the Sozu, and then the circly things are the Pinzu, right? And then we
yep,
have the dragons and the winds, and that's it. That's all the tiles of Mahjong.
yep. And so you only have one completed meld right now, right?
That's true.
You have one proto meld that is okay. It is pretty good in terms of trying to finish in your 5-6 so, because you can get 4 or 7, right?
Right.
But everything else is broken, right? You have inside weights on your Manzu suit because you're waiting for a 2, a 4, or a 6. And when you have an inside weight like that, it's usually inefficient for your hand because unlike, and this is a perfect example, unlike the 5-6, which only takes 2 tiles to get a 2-sided weight, waiting for the 4-7. If we let's just take part of that and take the 1-3-5 of Manzu, right? You're still waiting on 2 tiles as well. You're waiting for the 2 or the 4, but it's taking you 3 tiles to do that as opposed to 2 tiles on the other side, right? So you're having to spend more resources with the 1-3-5 to try to get the tiles you need to complete your hand. Because you only have one completed meld and one proto meld that's actually kind of useful, it's going to be pretty hard to draw the tiles you need because let's say even if you draw the 2-mon, right, you still have the other inside weight with the 5-7. So you
Right.
haven't
So
really improved your hand a whole lot.
looking at this, right? Let's say you get dealt this hand.
Yep.
Is your immediate thought here like, I gotta trash these dragons and try to turn this hand around, or I need to just like play it safe and go for pinfu or something, or like what's your kind of initial instinct the first second this flops down in front of you? Like where are you at mentally?
So if you are at the point where you want to complete your hand, right, and you actually want to win this hand, then first priority, at least in this particular case, should be actually making your hand callable, right? because if you manage to draw one of the other three dragon tiles that you have, either the east, the green dragon, or the red dragon, then you can call that, and that's your Yaku, and then you can try to figure out the rest later, right? Because
So you're
currently,
hoping to pair up the valuable stuff on the right.
right, because trying to go for like a Pinfu type hand requires you to have, basically perfect draws, right?
Yeah, like
And
too many
so,
discards are required here.
and even if we get the Yaku high, it still could take a while, but at least if we get the Yaku high, then you've guaranteed your Yaku, and then you can try to figure the rest out later, right?
Okay, so let's see what past Kaze chooses here, right? I don't remember. Okay, so let's see. I'm talking my way through this hand. I'm flipping around, and let's see. I decide to get rid of what I do a lot of talking. I will admit that I was pretty talkative. Did I get rid of anything yet? No. There are definitely times where I overanalyze, but like this was like the first hand of the stream, so I was doing a lot
Right.
of explaining here, and I decided to go with the 9. The reason why is I'm following your logic, right? That I'm hoping to get, um,
So go ahead
a
and pause
Yaku
this,
high
right? Go ahead
here.
and pause it right here. Or, at least pause your video, your stream here, right here.
Yep.
So, yes, go ahead and finish your statement, then I'll go ahead and talk.
I said I think I'm agreeing that like my hope here is to match up something so that I can hopefully get something that'll allow me to finish this hand. So I think that's where I was at.
Okay, so go ahead and leave it paused for a second. So the thing is that, and this is going to be a little bit harder because we're talking about playing the computer as opposed to playing a person. Because when you're playing with a computer, I mean, we don't know what its algorithms are or whatever, but when you're playing against a person, there can be emotion that's put into the game, right? Somebody might feel uncomfortable about a situation. So in this particular case here, there's another thing you can think of in terms of trying to make your hand callable, and that is, what hands can you call for that, or what hands that you can complete that you can still call for, right? Yakuhai is one, right? Another one is Honitsu, or a half flush, right? So you had a 1, 3, 4, 5, and then 9. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles, and then you have 3 dragon tiles, so that's 8. So that's a little over half your hand. It looks far away from a Honitsu, but at the same time, your hand is far away from most things, right? And at least the Pinzu suit is the same suit as the Dora. So if you manage to draw the Dora later, then you can incorporate that into your hand because you're going for a half flush in that suit. So in this particular case, I would actually start getting rid of your 1, 3, 5, 7 because those have just inside weights. The 5, 6 is still useful. You can still hold on to those in case you finish that meld and you get your Yakuhai, then you don't have to go for the Honitsu anymore. So in this particular case, the most least useful is a 1, 3, 5, 7. So if you had kept the 9, drop the 1 instead, now you draw the 8, and you've drawn another tile that could possibly go into your Honitsu, and then you can continue going on from there. Does that make sense?
Okay, I honestly always forget that the U.S. term half flush, but the honitsu exists. So I definitely that didn't even cross my mind. like that was definitely not in my brain. So what did I get rid of here? I'm curious. I think I see the red dragon has gone across the table. I say okay, mine's probably worth less, and now I've drawn the 9. So again, no help. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Again,
And
like
they're all inside weights, right?
yeah, it's just get riggedy wrecked the whole time. So I can see that like I have like hesitated here and been like I'm not sure what to do. And I kind of agonized on like, geez, what do I get rid of? I see the East has been discarded, so I know there's one less East out there to come across.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, right? This hand looks pretty far away from winning anyways, right? So and we can just continue talking as this goes forward.
Yeah,
Um,
I kind of threw away the 8 there. My guess is because I just wanted to believe that things were going to turn around.
well, and partially because you already discarded the 9, right? So look here, you're drawing. I mean, this isn't going to be the case all the time, but you're drawing more Pinzu tiles. Had we gone with the half flush thing, you would start getting more and more tiles in that suit, and you'd be ditching your Manzu, right? And just because an East and a Chun, a Red Dragon's been discarded, that doesn't that won't still prevent you from trying to draw a second, because realistically, like, this is a long shot, right?
I think what I'm looking for here is I'm chasing Sanshoku. I'm hoping for the 6 to drop on the Manzu. I'm hoping to complete some set with the 5 and 6 in the middle, and I've got 5 of the Pinzu. Yeah, but I think that's where I'm going mentally. Is I'm hoping that Sanshoku is going to materialize.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, it did not.
You have the inside 5 and not necessarily the 4-6. And so even if you draw the 4, you've completed the 3, 4, 5. And so what are you going to do then, right?
Yeah, I mean 5, 6, 7 would have been okay. 5, 6, 7 I think is what I was hoping for. So each new tile that shows up gives me another like oof. Also, picking up that second red dragon after I just discarded the first one was depressing.
Yeah,
not that I think I would have gotten a third one though, right?
It doesn't matter. Like the whole point is just to try to get tiles that go into this type of hand. You just try to figure it out later, right? This isn't one of those hands that's completely like spelled out for you. So just by accumulating tiles of that particular Yaku, then something might happen out of it. Because if we had done this differently, you'd have the 2 red dragons, you'd keep that 4 pin, you'd have the 8 and the 9. So now your shape looks like 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 8, 9, red dragon, red dragon.
So I think what I'm doing here is I actually wind up Googling because I'm trying to figure out if one of the Yaku that I'm chasing is workable open. Because I often forget, I forget if things are applicable to be done openly, right? Because I got the 3, 3, 5, 5 of Pinzu, so I think probably what I'm looking up, if I know me, is I'm looking up Ipeco.
But you've already discarded the 4.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying, right?
I'm probably mad at myself. So yeah, I give up. I throw the East away.
The minute you start discarding those tiles, suddenly it's hard for you to go back on it, right? And you run into Furry 10 rules.
Yep. I always forget this kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Viltris. Like, a Yaku condensed list is probably something I need to have on hand if I try this challenge again. Instead, like, I just had, like, the Wikipedia article I looked through, which is very wordy and space inefficient. Like, I need, like, a very small cheat sheet that fits in a small window.
I think we have... I know I have a PDF available that's, like, 1 page that you could probably use.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a better resource than Wikipedia here. But, I pick up the second 2, right? So now, guess where I'm at again mentally? I'm back on Ipeco, right? I'm like, hey, it fell into my lap. I just need a 1 now. I'm literally just trying to, like, get the 1.
But the problem is,
I'm still holding all those, like, toxic Monza.
Yeah, there's still, but 2 of the one pins are out. So you're looking at a single draw at this point.
Yep, and then I get the second green dragon, another depressing turn of events. We go to. So
this is what I'm saying, right? If you start discarding those types of tiles, you're kind of limiting. You couldn't call, right? That was the whole point of this, and so your hand is slowed down.
Viltris, since you missed here, TwelveSixer is like kind of a dude that streams Mahjong. He is local to me and you as consequence, but like he's definitely more than just like a random guy that likes Mahjong at this point. He's played in Japan on TV and stuff. Like, so I mean, he definitely is a guy that gets out. He gets around the Mahjong world. But yeah, like
let's go and pause this here quickly.
You want to pause here?
Yeah, because we always want to start about the thing is that when you start the hand, you need to think about what direction you want to take it. So even when I'm playing in, like, for instance, I'm playing in the Nina High, which is like a VTuber, Japanese VTubers tournament currently that's going on. I get a 5 second delay when I'm playing on Mahjong Soul. I take those 5 seconds and maybe even a little bit more to look at my hand and try to figure out what direction I want to take it. Because the minute you start discarding a tile, it's almost like you almost can't backtrack, right? Especially with Furry 10 rules.
Yeah.
Once you make a decision, like when you discarded that 9 pin, that meant you discarded the 8 pin. That meant that, again, it just kind of, you discarded that red dragon and you drew another red dragon. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep. So
So,
let's give a very succinct explanation of Furry 10, like a very short rule of it.
okay. So Furry 10 is basically if you are Tenpai or ready to win, and one of the weights that can finish your hand, not necessarily give you a Yaku, but actually finish your hand of 4 melds of 3 in a pair, or your generic 4 melds of 3 in a pair. If you've discarded one of those tiles, then you are ineligible to win off of anybody else. You only can win by self-draw. So for instance, if my last meld I needed to complete was a 6-9 of Manzu, for instance, and like my second discard of the hand, I discarded the 9 Manzu, well, now because I've discarded one of my winning tiles, I now can't win off of anybody else until I change my weight, so I'm not waiting off of a tile I've discarded. And it doesn't
Gotcha.
have to be for Yaku either. So if you're going for Tanya, which is all 2 through 8, and I have that same 6-9 weight, if I've discarded that 9, even though that 9 won't give me a Yaku, because it technically finishes that meld and would finish my hand, it still counts towards Furry 10. So it really punishes you for kind of backtracking in a way.
So question from the chat is, how do you
Sure.
feel about the 9 Manzu here? Is that an easy discard since it blocks Tanya?
So, let's take a look. If we took the shape of your hand before, when you had the West in your hand, you don't even have a completed Mensu at this point, or the completed meld. You have the 4-5, that's a block. Yeah, the 7-8-8, that's another block. But outside of that, then you have like the 1-2, which is not a very good one. So we're almost in the same position where we are last hand, where it's going to be very difficult for you to put something together. And so, like in this particular case here, just like last hand, I would tell you, you keep your honor tiles, especially since you're seeding south. So you keep the south, keep the green dragon, keep the red dragon. You have 5 Sozu tiles, and they're the ones that are more connected than the rest. So maybe you start thinking again, like a Honitsu half flush with the bamboo tiles. And in that particular case, you want to start voiding stuff, right? Like you need to void your Pinzu, you need to void your Manzu. Would I discard the 9 outright? No. And I don't think we're looking at Tanya at this point because there's just too far to go with this hand. I'd keep it in case I drew another 9, because if I somehow get Yakuhai, then now I have my pair. But you're probably going to end up in my opinion, you'd probably end up discarding your Manzu and your Pinzu tiles, and you'd hope for a half flush.
Okay.
That'd be the direction I could take.
Well, since I forgot half flush existed, I know that's not what happens here. Right? I can, spoiler alert, that's not what we do. So I'm probably talking through how, like, all 3 of those tiles have value right now, and none of them have been discarded. So the possibilities there are actually pretty good still, right? Like there's still a lot of things that can happen here. I'm probably agonizing on whether or not to get into Pinzu at all or just pull out. I bet I wind up throwing away the 9 though. I think I'm probably on the same mentality as Viltress. Just looking at this right now, no, I decide not even to take it, and I get yet another dragon.
That's fine.
Yeah,
right?
I think I've decided to sell out the Pinzu. I was like, I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, and see now technically you have 9 tiles in your hand that go towards a Honitsu, right?
Yep. So then I get
Even
the
so,
4, stroke of luck, you know.
so okay, so here's the other thing, right? You drew the 4, but if you were to look at your 2 suits, your Manzu suit and your Sozu suit, which side looks easier to complete?
Well, I wasn't thinking of like probably completing the whole thing. I just was in the middle of discarding Pinzu. Like I definitely decided to pull out of Pinzu, right?
Right, that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have enough here. It's not worth defending. I got the white dragon. I was like, that's literally too many dragons in my hand. I'm getting too much. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna throw away the white dragon because I saw the other one across the table, right?
Yeah, again, I know you said that you didn't recognize half flush, but in this particular case, you just sell out. Because if you sell out and you keep all those dragons, and let's say you don't even pair up any of them, and then somebody declares Riichi, those tiles suddenly become safe, probably,
It's true.
right?
Although
So
we're
you don't
gonna
have to
see,
work.
I get baited into some gross weights. I get
Well,
baited into some gross weights here. So I decided, okay, you know what? Maybe it's time to just get out of dragons and just see what I can make here with what I've got.
and see,
Because
you're drawing more Sozu tiles, right?
yep,
I mean, this is just fortunate. Like, this isn't going to happen all the time. But now imagine you keeping the white dragon and the green dragon and saying discarding the 1 and the 2. Because the 1 and the 2, the only way you complete that's the 3, right? And what does the 4/5 need? It needs the 3/6. So suddenly 2 of your possible melds needs the exact same tile. That makes finishing your hand worse.
all right. So I think I started to insulate and build for Tanyao. Viltris, I think, feels me on this point. That's where I went. Uh, you know, because I was like, I can open for Tanyao and try to get a win here. I don't get any help. And then I pair up the South.
You got your
right?
second South.
So I was like, stroke of
See,
luck.
now you can call, right?
Yep, that's the plan, right? And then I got the 6. So I was like, okay, 4, 5, 6. Time to dump that 9.
Yep. That's fine.
Yeah, in general, we were kind of discussing this earlier today. Like, step 1 of your mahjong evolutions, that you should not really open hardly ever. Like, there's not tons of situations where it's a good idea to open.
But the thing is, and this is one of the main exceptions, is if your hand is
Garbo.
basically crap, right? The only way it's even if you draw tiles yourself, it's gonna take a while. So if you can actually start calling from other people, then you can help accelerate your hand because now you can take other people's discards. It's like having
Yep.
another draw almost,
So
right?
I get the third South. That gives me Yaku High. I'm now okay to just open my hand and go nuts, like call everything. So I take the 8s as my
Go
pair.
back.
Oh, what?
So you discarded the 7 there.
Yep.
So here's the thing, right? If you were to think about this, and I know you have it muted, so we can't really hear what you're thinking, but why did you think you discarded the 7 there?
My guess is that I committed to the 8s as my pair. I was like, okay, that's my pair, so I'm not going to use the 7, right?
So
I think that's where I mentally went. I definitely should have. I look at it now, and like it seems more obvious to get rid of the 1 and 2.
there you go.
That would have been the way to go. But again, so one thing to remember is that like this is not like a fully together me. I don't want to say it because I think it's against TOS, but like I'm not all the way there in this video. So
That's
fine.
fine.
And I didn't know we
so
were going to analyze it later, so I didn't play in a very super conscientious way a couple times here. So this is an example of a definite mistake. Just straight up, this is a mistake.
And that's why I'm just going to point out these concepts to you. So you're right. Yes, you should have discarded the 1, 2. And the reason why is you don't have to commit to your pair now. There are other cases where, like, if it's early on in the hand and it's very flexible, you might commit to a particular pair early because you want to trap somebody later. It's the computer, so I don't know if you can do that as much. But here, if you can split your Sozu up into 2 blocks, you have the 4-4-5 and the 7-8-8, right? Do you follow me?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I kind of figured I wasn't going to win at this point. So I was like, what's the fastest way I can get this hand into shape? Like, what's the fastest way I can get back down to just like, the dirtiest possible? And I think my plan was to be able to call the fours and eights all across the table. I think that's the other thing I had the idea of instead of trying to get the chi.
Yeah, and the thing is, the chi opens up a lot more opportunities because the 4-4-5 shape can accept the 3, can accept the 4, and can accept the 6. That's 3 different tiles. So maximum, that's 10 tiles that you could possibly use to make that a completed meld. And the 7-8-8 is the same, right? A 6, a 8, or a 9. 10 tiles.
All right, so let's let this go because we don't want this stream to be 9 hours long, right?
Yeah.
We gotta let it continue to go forward. So am I gonna get out? Yeah. So this is where I correct now and I say, okay, I'm gonna get out of the ones and twos. And then I just draw like wildly unconnected stuff there. I'm not really happy with what I got. I'm for some reason really mentally committed to these pairs. I just like believe in them super hard. So, uh, then I get the 5-6, but we run out of tiles. I get out safely, right? Like, I don't pay anybody. I lose another 1,000.
Right.
So like, okay, 2 draws. I was like, maybe the next hand will contain the magic. So let's look at this opening hand here, okay?
Okay, so based upon what I talked about the first 2 hands, why don't you talk to me about what you think you should be looking at here?
Okay, so right away, the West is totally trash, as is the South. It's my dealership,
okay,
right?
Go ahead.
It's East 2, and it's my dealership.
Mm-hmm.
Now I do see that. I think after East, I forget which one it is. Like, is it West? That is the.
It's in the direction of play.
So South. Oh, I didn't realize it was the direction of play. That helps. Okay, so South is the door here. So that South is actually potentially got something. The West is trash. The single white tile is a long shot. I've got 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, right, of the Sozu.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yes, and I'm excited about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 4-7 unconnected mon looks like trash. And then the 1-1-5-7, again, that's an inside weight, not super great, but the pair of ones I can work with. So I'm definitely not going for like Sanshoku or anything here. It seems, just glancing at this, I can't really go for Yaku High either because the Souths don't give you Yaku, even though they're the Dora, right? So I think I might just try to go for a quick win to keep my dealership and get another chance for something stronger. That's probably my mentality.
Okay, so you're pretty much correct. It's not like you can go for a flush like you could before. You actually have 2 basic melds in the 4-5 in the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 because you're waiting for a 4-7, right? So that looks pretty good. You aren't going to get Yaku High probably. You at least have your pair. I'd probably hold on to the door anyways because door is still valuable. A long shot, and you won't keep it in the back. You just need to keep it in the back of your head. You said you weren't thinking about Sanshoku, but you're not actually that far off because you have the 5, 6, 7, and you have the 5-7 on another 2, and then you have the hanging 7 on the Monzu side.
I might be thinking about it. Like let's see what I do and see if it goes there.
But you can still think about it. Let's just say if you draw a 5 mon, right, or a 6 mon. If you draw a 6 mon, it's perfect. But yeah, your goal here should be just Riichi in general. Just get to a hand that's Tenpai Riichi and then hope for the best. If something else develops out of that, great.
Yeah, or just Tanyao because This is Kuitanashi, so I can play that open. And that
Yeah,
makes
but
it by
Tanya,
far the
the
fastest
problem with
hand.
Tanya is that you have 6 tiles that don't fit for that, right? And
Yeah, because
one
I
of them
got
includes your
nines and I
pair
got honors
and the pair of ones. That's
and
the
pair of
biggest.
ones. So I think, yeah, like let's see what I do. All right, I decided to just get out of the honors game.
You're not wrong.
Because sometimes, like maneuvering around your like hopeful honors tiles, like it makes you feel constricted in a way. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but sometimes like you feel it, right? You feel like, dang, I need more room in this hand. I need more
Oh
looks.
yeah. Well, like when I talk about hanging on to those tiles, I mean, remember those prior hands were trash, right?
Yeah.
So you had spare tiles to deal with, but as your hand improved, suddenly you don't need them anymore. So yeah, I mean, if you don't have room for them, you don't have room for them.
So I'm probably trying to figure out what I should get rid of here. I throw away the nine. Pwning this doesn't get me anywhere. Um, and I kind of agonize like, should I do it? Well, I pwn it. I don't know why I pwn it. Why do I pwn that? What do I think I have?
Yeah. See, at
Why
this
did I?
point, the only thing I can think of, the only 2 things that you can go for now is that 5, 6, 7 Shanshoku, which you discarded the 7,
Yeah, what am I
and
going for here?
a full straight 1 through 9.
Oh yeah, that's got to be what I'm going for. I'm chasing the straight.
That's the only thing that's left at this point.
Yeah, I think. And look, I get, this guy's reaching on turf 5 or 6, like super, super fast. I draw more dragons. I don't
Which you
need.
can discard. Those are safe, right? There's
Yeah.
the red dragon was discarded after the Riichi. The green dragon was good to discard. The 2 mana is good to discard. The 9 mana is good to discard. But then you're out of luck.
Yep. And then another player
Now,
reaches. I get the
yeah, now
second vibe on. I'm like, oh man.
you can discard. Oh, you don't have the 4. So now you can discard the 7 so.